I think college to elementary school teacher was a very difficult transition, to be honest. And so, obviously it was just a big difference to only be responsible for myself and to be, if I was late on a paper, that only affected me. And so just adjusting to that, being responsible for a class of 26 students was stressful and difficult. And I think that that's something that's always going to be the case for your first job and after college. But one thing that I think really helped with that, or two things that really helped, were the fact that I was able to take sort of a lighter course load, even though I was really involved and interested in my thesis project. My actual course load was pretty light for senior year, so I didn't feel burnt out by the time I got to my position, which was really helpful, and I would sort of advocate for taking a little bit of downtime in your senior year in preparation for that. And the second thing was just having Matt move with me was helpful, because I think staying, for people I know that stayed in Burlington, having people that you know to help you adjust that, having Matt there was just helpful in terms of adjusting to that new situation. So those are my two pieces of advice.
I think it was definitely a difficult transition for me, as I did not immediately end up in a position where I wanted to be. So it was. I ended up getting that position fairly quickly after I moved to Milwaukee. So there were only a few weeks gap between my summer job in Burlington and my similar job in Milwaukee. But it was. I was still at that point looking for something more in my interest in the full-time position, and it was a difficult transition there to realize that that's maybe not going to happen right now. But to realize that there are other opportunities out there, that I can use my evenings and get unpaid internships that are going to build my resume and are going to be something that I'm really interested in, and it's going to make it so I can make it through my day job. And I think that once I made that transition in my mind, and that this can be a positive thing, and that I can build towards a future job move, I think that was very helpful, but it was a difficult transition at first.
When I graduated, I moved right back to Cambridge because it is where I grew up, and I still had friends there. I still liked it and was looking to get work there. So I moved back in with my parents and kind of met with a couple of contacts. I've gone to the business school, Rocky put me in touch with the person, maybe one other, but I wasn't really looking that actively. I had just gone out of college. I was ready to hang out for a while. So after,
that's really what you want to hear.
It's legitimate. It's a lot of work, That thesis takes a lot out of you. So I was kind of, half looking, and my mother is actually she's a CEO in Boston, a CEO of Glad, and on her board of directors, this woman who works at my company, and they were talking. My mother was just chatting, saying, my son's looking for a job, et cetera, and she had me send her my resume, and then the next day I was in interviewing at Eagle, and I filled out an application. It was the only application I filled out, and had 3 interviews over the course of the next 6 weeks. Had to give a presentation on some of the content that I would be working on, had to take an aptitude test on one of the last days. All of it put me through the ringer, and after 6 weeks I got the job, and I've been there ever since. So it's been over 2 years now, and I'm enjoying it still. So it was probably an easy transition for me. I got really lucky though, because as she said, the economy collapsed in 2008. Probably a week or two after I got my job, the company went into a hiring freeze. There were layoffs, which luckily I avoided because I was so cheap. So some entry-level jobs can be good in that way. And I just got really lucky, and some of my friends, had went through multiple jobs over that time, working in call centers for mutual fund companies, things like that. But yeah, it was pretty easy, and I think just really lucky on my part.
So here, I'm going to ask the question that I know that many of you are thinking. So, are you still living at home?
I moved out a couple months ago, actually. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, how many were undecided majors when they arrived at UVM, and how did they seemed all very focused and happy with their selections? How was that process? Did the administration help? Did your teachers help? Or the honors college people? How did you get to your eventual majors?
All right, it's another great question. Was that what you were going to add to that?
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
You seem so polished, and I was wondering. My God, I have
putting on a good show, man.
I'm not sure she's going to ever. Yeah. So I think that what you're kind of trying to say is, do you feel like you really evolved, and the honors college helped? Did the administration and the faculty help you do that? And you know? Or did you come in looking
Yeah, I haven't taken this tie off before.
So the question is, how did they become the people that they become? But especially if they came in undeclared, or how they found their way to the thing that they love. Just in college, let's not even talk about the job world, but how you sort of found your way to the things that you loved, whether at UVM.
And how they were supported.
And
how they were supported, right? And how they were supported by that.
More even in the honors college than maybe your peers outside of the honors college, and you know, was it administration or faculty, and do you feel like you needed to go to that, or did they come to you, sort of? It's a big question.
It's an excellent question.
It's like a 2-hour question.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't technically undecided when I came in, but obviously I was. I came in as a biology major, like I said, and really what it was for me was I would take an elective in another field that I was peripherally interested in, and I would love it and say, oh, that has to be my major, and I'd switch to that, and then I'd take another peripheral course, and oh no, I have to do that department. So I switched around quite a bit, and for a while I actually tried to design a major, and it was sort of an unfortunate situation where there was only one faculty member here that would really have been appropriate, because you need a faculty advisor for an individually designed major, and there would really have only been one that was appropriate, and he was on sabbatical for just that one semester where I needed him, so it didn't really work. So in that sense, yeah, I think other than that experience, faculty members in departments were very supportive, were very welcoming to me when I had lots of meetings where I would come into someone's office and say, is it too late for me to do this major? And everyone was very supportive of that. And I also got support from administrators in the Honors College, as well as administrators in the College of Arts and Sciences, which is a really fantastic resource that you do have to reach out to, because they're not going to find you, but they are wonderful people in that office that will help you and counsel you, and they know everything about every requirement, and they'll print out your transcript and figure out what you need. So I do think that I was very much supported by my professors, and very much supported by the Honors College administration, and I think that was something that was really nice to have. And then also being able to reach out to the College of Arts and Sciences was something that I wouldn't necessarily have known about otherwise, but it's definitely something to tell your students about, because that's a great resource. And if they're not in Arts and Sciences, whatever their home school is, I'm sure they are equally as helpful.
I came in as a political science major, and I didn't change after that. I had a professor my freshman year that I really I kind of clung to, and I went into his desk one day, and he had a paperweight that had his name in English and in Arabic, and it was an international relations professor, and he was encouraging us all to continue with the language. And I had taken 4 years of French in high school, and I said to him, I'm done with that, I'm bored, I want to do something else. And I just saw this paperweight, and I was like, that's what I want to learn. So it's just amazing really what kind of inspires you. And with debating, I saw a sign on the wall that was like, come to our debate meeting. I was like, okay, I'll go try that. And then I was just hooked with those two things, and I pursued them and actively pursued them, and really, I mean, I feel like someone could have rolled the dice and it could have been totally different and in what happened. But throughout the course, I had a lot of support. The political science department was really wonderful, and they really supported me, not just individual professors, but the department as a whole. And then the Honors College, in applying for the Boren, Lisa was extremely helpful. In the entire process, I'd be writing up rough drafts and send it to her, and it would come back with a lot of red, and I was like, oh my goodness.
But her to win.
But the process, I mean, the Honors College was extremely supportive as well throughout the entire process, and at UVM, and they're still very supportive. They're still there for me anyways. I don't know if anyone else has had similar experiences, but really, I think that one of the main keys is to reach out to the resources that are available, because I think a lot of students sometimes forget that no one's going to just come and be like, oh, here are resources, we're going to help you. They really have to actively seek them out. So.
Yeah, and I also came in as an environmental studies major and stuck with that, but one experience that I had that was, well, environmental studies is a really broad field, and so within that you sort of have to decide on what you're going to do. And I was originally in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, which required me to take a bunch of different like distribution requirements that just didn't really fit with what I wanted to do. And so actually through taking my sophomore year seminar with Lisa, it was a course on truth and narrative, and I discovered how much I really loved English courses and that I was really passionate about that. And sitting down with Lisa, you know, she helped me figure out that it would be a better fit to be in arts and sciences, where I could have an English minor and use my credits that way, and then also have more access to like sociology and anthropology courses, which were really sort of where I was heading in the environmental field rather than some of the more science or agriculture focused stuff. So the Honors College for me was just extremely supportive, and with students, you know, Honors College students are all very, very driven and academically focused, but they also have so many interests that you have a ton of people that are just sort of sitting there like, what do we do? Like, where should we focus? And so being able to just have those conversations with your friends and say, oh, I'm taking this course, oh, I'm interested in this. A lot of my friends and I developed common interests throughout the course of our career and took classes together and sort of fed off of each other. So that was really helpful also, was just having that community.
I came in as a bio major, and I switched after that. After learning about the life cycle of plants wasn't what I wanted to learn about for the next 4 years. And I just saw a flyer one day about the medical lab science, and I did all the legwork on it because I wasn't on the honors college my freshman year. I had to apply for the sophomore year. It was a lot of work on myself, so it sounds like it probably would have been a lot more helpful if I was in the honors college and had some help like they had. But yeah. Sounds like it is a big help when you are.
We do a lot of info sessions, so